Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Danny Doll, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about what my experience was like go-go dancing at EDC Mexico. Okay guys, so I'm actually currently getting ready for a gig right now. I am go-go dancing tonight, so I figured I would do my makeup while telling you guys about my experience working EDC. So I guess the best way to start this would be to start at the beginning. If you guys don't already know, I have been go-go dancing for a pretty long time. I want to say about 14 years. And what mostly got me interested in go-go dancing was that I was already so big into like the nightlife scene, raving in particular. And for me, a really big pivotal moment for me was when I went to EDC Las Vegas. And I saw all of the entertainers, and I was just so like, I feel like I look crazy right now talking to y'all, but whatever. I just remember being so like, oh my gosh, that is my dream. So yeah, it was my first time going to EDC Las Vegas, and that was a pivotal moment for me, seeing the entertainers on stage and just also like the roaming characters, interacting with them. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I remember thinking like, that's gonna be me one day. Like, I don't know what I have to do what they're doing, but like, that's gonna be me. Bet on it. And sure enough, it happened years later. So yeah, that's kind of like what planted the seed in my head of like, I wanna work EDC so bad. Like, it was a really big dream of mine. Fast forward a few years, I moved to California, and so I remember they were having EDC auditions in LA, and I drove from San Diego to LA to audition. Unfortunately, I didn't make it that year, but I still like was super optimistic, and I was like, oh well, I'll just keep trying out until I make it, and keep, you know, taking note of like what I need to work on to be able to get hired one day. And then I want to say maybe like a year after or 2 years after that, I moved back to Dallas, and Insomniac was having a festival called Something Wonderful in Dallas, and I submitted an audition for that, and I made it. Woo! So I was able to dance with Insomniac and Team Easy, which is the team entertainment company that does all of the casting for Insomniac events. And that was huge for me. It was like always a big dream of mine to work with Team Easy, meet Mrs. Easy, and just work with like Insomniac and big festivals and artists in general, you know? So I ended up working that, and I think that's kind of what helped me get casted for EDC Mexico. I can't exactly remember the timeline from there, like how far after that I got casted for EDC Mexico. I want to say like a year, and I believe this was in 2017. So guys, this story is from so long ago. Keep that in mind. It's been almost 10 years since I've worked EDC. So obviously, like, I don't know, things might be done differently now. Just like the whole experience might be different now from what my experience was. And also, just like quickly, I want to say that this is my personal experience working EDC, and your experience might be different than mine, or you may have heard different experiences based off of, you know, we all experience things differently. So I just want to say that before I go any further. So yeah, I got casted for EDC Mexico. I was so fucking stoked. I felt like, you know, I had made it as a go-go dancer. Like, I felt like the hot shit, you know? I got casted for EDC. That's a huge deal, especially internationally, like getting to travel internationally, doing what you love to do. I was ecstatic, like over the moon ecstatic. So the process after that, like once I got casted, they were like, well, you know, since this is international in Mexico, you're gonna need a passport. And I didn't have a passport at the time, or like it was expired or something like that. Like I forgot exactly what the situation was with that. So I wanted to work so bad. I got my passport expedited, like paid extra to get it expedited. And I remember being so freaking anxious, like waiting for my passport because I was scared it wasn't going to come in time. And then they're like, you also need to get your plane tickets. So they were going to be providing a shared hotel room with another entertainer, and I had to take care of meals outside of working the festival, which was 2 days, and my passport, travel, that sort of stuff. In addition to paying for that, you also have to have specific costuming stuff to work EDC, and I also had to provide specific stuff when I worked Something Wonderful with them as well. And these specific things are like, you have to have a specific brand of tights, which are Capezio tights, and them mugs is not cheap. They're not super duper expensive, but they're not the cheapest tights out there. They're like $30 to $40 or something. Granted, they're really high quality and whatnot, but still, all the little things that I had to provide myself started adding up. I don't think I had to provide too many things for EDC Mexico. Like, I think I just had to provide those tights, like a nude bra, strapless bra, and nude undergarments, which is like, if you're a go-go dancer, you should have these things anyways. Like, you should always be prepared to have to provide those basics like that, like tights, nude undergarments, black bra, black undergarments, different types of go-go shoes and character shoes. So yeah, these are all of the things that I had to provide. I booked my stay literally just, I flew in the next day, the next 2 days I worked EDC, and then the next day I flew out. So like, I didn't really get to explore the city while I was there, which looking back, I really wish that I would have booked my flight longer to be able to explore. But like I said, they were only providing that shared room the days that we were working. So if I would have stayed any longer, like I would have just, you know, been spending more money than what I was making. And speaking of that, like after factoring all the costs in, like my passport, my flights, the money I spent on food and costuming costs, I ended up negative. Like, I didn't profit from working EDC. I ended up like negative, not even breaking even, like, you know, negative money. That is a topic that I want to circle back later when I kind of like revisit everything as a whole. But moving on. Okay, so like I said, we have to share a room with another person, another entertainer. My person, she was pretty cool. Like, the first day we went to the bar in the lobby together and we're having some drinks and just talking and stuff. Personally, I'm not a big fan of sharing space with people. Like, if I have the opportunity to do so, like, I will get my own individual room, because you just never know, you know? Like, I especially don't ever want to be paired with people who are just like not respectful, or, you know what I'm saying? But my roommate, luckily, she was pretty cool. And while we are on the topic of my roommate, so you know how I said we were hanging out at the hotel bar and like drinking, chatting. So I called it an early night because, you know, we had to wake up pretty early in the morning to go, you know, get ready for a day at EDC, a whole full day, hair, makeup, bright and early, you know what I'm saying? So I called it an early night, and this girl I guess she just decided to stay up and keep drinking. Like, I don't even know if she had went out somewhere or if she stayed in the hotel. I don't know. I don't even know who she was with or what. But she didn't get back till super late. And the next morning, she was too hungover. Like, she was feeling real sick. And I was like, she did not want to go. Like, she didn't want to go because they had like shuttle buses for us so everyone could go together to the campgrounds. I mean, not campgrounds, but the fair festival grounds. And she was like, no, I think I'm just gonna like meet up there later. And I was like, okay, girl, it's none of my business, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up leaving like without her, and I didn't think too much of it, you know. Like I said, it wasn't my business, not my responsibility. Like, I barely know the girl, you know, I'm just sharing a room with her. And I remember it kind of put me in an awkward position because I remember Miss Easy herself was asking me about like, so where's your roommate? And I'm over here like, oh yeah, she doesn't feel good. Like, and she kind of looked at me like, girl, we both know she's hungover. And I was like, it just made me feel real awkward, you know, because I was like, I had nothing to do with that, you know. So I kind of felt like I was getting scolded for something that didn't have nothing to do with me. The process of working EDC, I can't remember exactly like correct time frames of things, but I believe hair and makeup was about 2 to 3 hours long. So we had to arrive on site for hair and makeup before even, you know, the festival even started. We started any of that. And there is a lot of talent working, so that's kind of why we have to get there so early. And the hair and makeup is pretty like, you know, we're in wigs, we're in big theatrical style makeup and costumes. And I got grouped with 3 other girls. Everyone in my group was super cool, and I think I still have them on social media to this day. And I met so many cool people during that experience. That is definitely one of the highlights of like that whole experience working EDC, is like all the networking that I did and just like meeting these really other talented people in the entertainment industry who I'm still in contact with to this day. Like, that was a super big highlight for me. So I was grouped with 3 other girls. We were like wearing these weird trippy costumes. I don't even know how to describe it. Personally, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of my particular costume, but you know, when you're working for another company or anyone else for that matter, you don't have a lot of say in like stuff like that. So I sucked it up. I was happy to be there, and I was gonna wear whatever they put me in. But like I said, personally, I didn't like the styling or the concept of that costuming. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even like explain why I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Like, the style of the wig was weird. I feel like the costume made me look really frumpy. And that might be, you know, my bad for being short and having a short torso. Like, certain things don't look super flattering on me, and I didn't like how that costume looked on me. And just like having to embody that trippy character, like, me personally, I would more so like to embody ethereal characters or like bubbly characters, kooky characters, you know. So embodying that specific character type was just like not my preference. But then again, like I said, I was just happy to be there. So I was like, whatever, I'm up for the challenge, let's go. So yeah, aside from the 2 to 3 hours of makeup, if I remember correctly, it's a 12-hour festival. So we were there for like 13, 14, like 14, 15 hours per day, if I remember correctly. And as fun as it was, guys, like truly, I can't even describe what it felt like to be performing in front of thousands of people with like really popular EDM artists who I loved at the time, like performing for their set. That feeling is indescribable. However, it was probably like the most exhausting 2 days of my entire life, because during those 12 hours, guys, we are going from stage to stage. There's no little golf carts driving us around. We don't get princess treatment. We have to walk from stage to stage. I'm in these like big heeled go-go dance stripper looking platforms. And mind you, this is Mexico. This ain't America. This is Mexico. And if you've never been to Mexico, it's a little different there. Like the ground is like really rocky and rubbly and dirt. So it was hard to walk around. And like I said, we are walking from stage to stage. Like our break in between dancing our sets on different stages is walking from stage to stage in the rubble, while there are people literally grabbing you, yanking you, stopping you for pictures. And what I noticed about working in Mexico versus working in Dallas for Something Wonderful is that the crowd was way more aggressive in terms of like I said, grabbing you, yanking you. And I'm Mexican, so I understand Spanish. I can't speak it very well, but I can understand it. And when I tell you, these people were rude, they were nasty. Like, if you didn't want to stop, and it's not that I didn't want to stop, but it's like we were on a mission to get to the other stages, and you know, walking in high heels in the rocks ain't easy. So we were like trying to get from stage to stage, and you know, I'm just following the lead of, we had a PA with us, personal assistant, leading us, kind of like our personal bouncer for the night and stuff. And so I'm just following their lead. So if they're not stopping, like I keep going, you know. And I had people call me pinche culera, which literally translates into like, I'm not even gonna translate it, but it's like, it's not nice. They were like saying insults to us, and like the other girls, I think they were all American, so they're just like ha 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 ha, like they didn't understand anything they were saying or like what was going on, but I understood. And I was like, OMG, like what the heck. I was a little shook by that. Obviously I'm a professional, so like I didn't let it show like that I knew what they were saying or that I was offended by what they were saying or anything like that. But still, I was just like, ew. It felt a little like, I just feel like the talent should not be going out into the crowds so often like that. Like it felt unsafe at times. Like I get it that they're so big on interacting with the crowds and doing character work. Kind of feels like Disneyland if it were a rave, Disney World if it were a rave or whatever. And that concept is so cool. But like I wish they gave us little golf carts or something to drive around in, or just like a safer means of getting around and dealing with people, because I personally cannot stand when people are like physically grabbing me or saying insults to me and getting upset with me. You know, it like, I felt cool because I felt like famous or something. Like everyone wanted a picture or get a video with us. But also, like I said, it felt like a little unsafe at times and I felt overwhelmed. We also had little breaks. I put the breaks in quotation marks because it did not feel like a break at all. We had breaks like at the different stages backstage. So I found myself sitting on like random speakers or equipment or on the floor like to get a break, which I also feel like I'm working a major production. Like, why can't we have nice little green room areas or something like that to get adequate breaks? Like, all the events that I book for myself under my entertainment agency, that's like something that's in my contract. Like, I request like a green room where we can have a nice peaceful break. I feel like that's something that's important to me. Obviously, like, I'm aware it's a big festival, so they probably, you know, they're working with what they got, but like, come on, I'm pretty sure the DJs and the musical artists get really nice treatment when it comes to breaks and getting around the festival grounds and just like, you know, whatever they request, like drinks, food, all that stuff. So that was pretty much the experience on site. Like, it was very, very exhilarating. Like I said, getting to dance in front of that many people at like this huge festival, huge iconic festival for huge iconic artists. But it was also super exhausting and just like stressful. Let me give you guys like an overview now that I've went over everything. Let me guys give you like the rundown, the breakdown of like all the pros and cons, would I ever do it again, what I got out of it, yada yada. So let's start with the pros. It was a once in a lifetime type of experience. Like I said, dancing for my favorite artist for this big production in front of so many people, it just like, it was an experience like no other. Like, I can't even put it into words. Like, it was amazing. Getting to meet all these other entertainers from all around the world, so many freaking cool people, and I was so glad to make those friendships. Getting to travel somewhere new. I had never been in Mexico City before, so that was cool to me. Even though I didn't really get to explore the city outside of EDC, the whole like, I got to travel for work, I got to work internationally, you know, I feel like I get to flex on people a little bit with that line. Bragging rights. And yeah, that's another thing, bragging rights. I get to say, I worked at EDC, bitch. And putting it on my resume as well. I feel like EDC is a big deal in the entertainment world. And go-go dancing, like every go-go dancer that I've ever met wants to work EDC if they haven't already. Cons, I don't feel like the compensation is enough to outweigh all the work and all the things that you need to do and purchase in order to work there. Because in the end of it, when everything is said and done, you actually end up breaking even if you're lucky, or being negative, aka you're paying to go work somewhere, which just like, that is never gonna sit right with me, because we work so fucking hard that I feel like we should be able to get fairly compensated for what we're doing. You know, I feel like that's not too much to ask for. Okay, so that leaves us with the question of like, would I ever do it again? And I think you guys know my answer. The answer is probably not. I haven't since then, because to me it didn't make financial sense. For me personally, I am very like, finances is something that's important to me. I don't know how else to put it. I have to make a living. I got things to pay for. I have high goals, and my finances need to align with those goals that I have for myself, you know? And I'm never gonna feel bad about that or apologize for that. Because I know some people are like, oh, it's not about the money. Baby, for me, it is. Like, it isn't, but it is. Like, yes, I love doing what I do, go-go dancing, performing, all of that. And even if I didn't do it as a profession, I would still be in my living room, you know, go-go dancing. but let's keep it at that. Like, if you really love go-go dancing or performing, whatever, to the point where you would do it for free, you shouldn't be letting companies take advantage of that. Like, literally just go, if you want to do it for free so bad, just do it in your living room, or, you know, donate your time to good causes or something, you know. But why let people take advantage and then kind of like disrupt the whole industry, if that makes sense? So yeah, overall cons were like the long hours, having to pay for a lot of things in order to work, like your flights and yada yada. And for EDC Vegas, they don't provide housing or anything like that, so you got to pay for even more things if you're working Vegas. But yeah, and then not getting compensated enough, especially in comparison to like normal industry rates. Like, it's way less. I was honored to be a part of it. Yep. I just, like I said, it doesn't really align with my lifestyle or how I want to balance my entertainment career, if that makes sense. Like, in order for me to have a sustainable entertainment career, successful entertainment career, like, I need to make sure that I'm working gigs that align with my, you know, financial goals and whatnot. But I don't regret working at all. Like, I'm so happy that I worked it and got to experience it. Now that I've experienced it, I'm good on that. So yeah, guys, that is my overall experience working EDC Mexico. Comment down below what you think. Like, if you've worked it, let me know what your guys' experience is. Anyways, I'm always posting about my life as a performer and the entertainment industry. So if you guys are interested in seeing more content on those topics, make sure to follow and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!